The political parties are beginning to set a machinery for their primary election and are looking to the bigger picture. That's the presidential election in 2023. The floor is open for all who are within the constitutional demands for a presidential aspirant. Knowing who is vying for this seat is as important as the seat itself, and it's high time we took a cursory look at some of the names that have so far been seen to declare their interest in becoming Nigeria's next president. The focus is on the aspirants, their track records, what they offer, and what Nigerians think about them. Welcome to Village Square Africa. I'm Sulaiman. Yemi Osinbajo has been Nigeria's vice president for 7 years and counting. His presidential aspiration is seeing his ambition go directly against his former boss, Bola Tinubu. Osinbajo has been a part of the Nigerian government in the last 7 years, and his aspiration has courted mixed reactions. Tinubu, a former governor of Lagos State for 8 years, senator in Nigeria's Third Republic and the national leader of the ruling party, the APC, since its inception, is also vying for office. His age has been a factor many have posited against her, but his supporters march on his strong social clout, experience, and longevity. Also vying to become president from the ruling party is Rotimi Amechi, Nigeria's current Minister of Transportation, a former governor of one of Nigeria's richest states, Rivers, and former lawmaker in the state. Now, the People's Democratic Party has said it's yet to decide on the mode of the primaries for the primary election, but consensus looks a distant possibility. From the north, there's the PDP's candidate in the 2019 election, Atiku Abubakar, Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed, Sokoto State Governor Aminu Tambuwal, former Senate President Bukola Saraki, former Anambra State Governor Peter Obi, former Secretary to the Government of the Federation Ayim Pius Ayim, and Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike seen as the frontrunners of the party. Now, joining me to unpack it all is Kenneth Odidika, who is a public affairs analyst and a legal practitioner, as well as Shola Abiloye, our partner in Southgate Solicitors. Gentlemen, good to see you and welcome to the square.
Thank you very much.
Let me start with you. Kenneth Odidika is quite a heavy list of potential presidential aspirants. And of course, just before now, in 2021, we had a conversation looking at some of the developments in Nigeria. What do you think stands out in some of these candidates asking Nigerians to consider them for this big office?
Thank you very much, Sulaiman. I think we need to be a bit honest in this country. It is not only when it suits you that you propound a principle or a theory. In Nigeria today, before we go to the individuals, we have the cutoff mark for certain groups of people in examinations. We determine that, yes, with your PhD or your master's or whatever, you wait. Somebody else who barely has a school certificate should come and assume a position from a certain part of the country because you say they are disadvantaged. Now, there is a group of people that appears to be disadvantaged by virtue of having been determined to have lost a war, by having been determined to be less in number or fewer in number than the rest. Other people have had a taste of the cherry, a bite of the apple. Now, instead of saying, okay, give us somebody from your area, give us your best or one of your best, everybody now says, no, it's not necessary. all of us should go into the field, into the arena. It is not actually that one is afraid of competing with the rest. But what I am saying now, and I'm going to advocate and hold on to it tenaciously, is that henceforth, if the Southeast is not allowed to exclusively produce the next president, then every other thing that grants concession to any group of people must be pulled down. And that is my stake as far as that is concerned. Now, on the individuals, if those from the north, south, east, west, south, south, it is quite unfortunate that this country does not have a memory. Before the advent of the calamitous regime we have, some of us who are ardent students of history were on several platforms advising Nigerians to be wary of what they were seeing, what was being packaged for them. It was clear to us that there was no way a Muhammadu Buhari could make an effective and effectual president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And that had nothing to do with integrity, which is being touted, whatever that means. We are, again, at the balustrade, about to cross over to bring in somebody and some characters who have brought Nigeria not just to its knees. I'm not Yoruba, but I understand Dobale means lying on your tummy, practically face down. We are fully Dobaleing. And some individuals are responsible for that. Some educated, some pretended educated. And these characters are presenting themselves, and some human beings find some comfort in supporting them. It is quite unfortunate. Not having asked me to analyze them, I will stop here for the time being until I'm asked to analyze them individually. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Kenneth. Let me bring in Shola, because I'll come back to you, no doubt, Kenneth Odidika, so that we can expand the where you started off, talking about the Southeast, and of course we'll also dig in deep and talk more about these people, especially those that have been tested before, and see those, if there are any, that are trusted. Shola, again, thanks for your time. Now, quickly, I want you also, just as Kenneth Odidika helped us by giving us an overview of what's playing out now before we dig in deep. What's your reading in the political space as you watch this journey towards 2023?
Well, thank you, sir. Thank you for having me on the program. I listened to my learned colleague and his sentiment for the Igbo presidency, but I think I quite feel his sentiment, and I mean, for every Igbo man, there's this feeling of marginalization and the privation. You know, it appears the Igbo man has been ostracized from Nigerian political space, particularly as it touches on the elevated seats of the Nigerian president. But I think the point has to be taken that yes, more needs to be done for the Igbo. I mean, for the Southeast particularly. I mean, I spent substantial amount of my university and my lifetime in the East and in the Southeast. I can tell that they really need. It's probably the time for the Igbos to produce, become president. But that said, power is not given. Power is taken. So I mean, it behoves on the entire Southeast to begin to organize themselves to make certain deliberate, conscientious efforts at snatching the highest political seats in Nigeria.
So quickly, we'll come back to you. Shola has also shared his sentiments, but let me bring you quickly here to what Adeni Kunu said on the show. He was on this platform and he said specifically that perhaps the Igbos have not, learned the art of politicking. And he was also alluding to the fact that at that point in time, there was a time that the Igbos refused to give that big support to Odumegwu Ojukwu, and they have not been able to come together as one united front, just the way we saw the AD, then pretty much later the ACN metamorphose into a regional party, to a national party. Speak to us on that, if you will, because you're also at a point in time into partisan politics before you resigned and went back to your practice. Let us in on what that means when someone says that the Igbos haven't actually played politics the way they should be playing politics.
Thank you very much, Sulaiman. You see, that is a very disingenuous argument. It's actually, it's pedestrian. And I'm trying to be courteous. Obasanjo lost not justice, he lost everything. He lost his word, lost in Ogun State, lost everywhere. He was our president. What is this thing about people playing their politics well and coming to all of us in one basket? What does that mean? Where does it happen? Where has it ever happened? But once you see both, then everybody becomes a lecturer, everybody becomes a historian. The Igbos are telling you, it is not your business who we bring out, whether we can manage Nigeria. Whether we are united or not, if you think we are not, tell me any other nationality in Nigeria, any other, that meets as much as the Igbos. Everywhere we are, we have our town union and so on and so forth. We know where every Igbo man is. Every Igbo man, we know where he is. No other nationality in Nigeria does that. And you're telling me we're not united. United to do what? The thing is, we are about fairness. We are about development. That's why you see us in all the nooks and crannies of Nigeria, contributing our quota to the development of Nigeria. There's nothing like disunity. We are united. Here I am, a lawyer of 42 years standing, accomplished in whatever way, whatever parameters you want to use. I've been a politician like you said. Here I am. I don't belong to PDP, APC, ABGA. I belong to none. But I'm telling you, pointedly, without fear or favor, that the Igbos are deliberately being marginalized. Deliberately. After all, what happened?
So why do you say deliberately?
Deliberately, yes, by Nigeria. You see, this issue of Fulani, yes, that's good. It's easy to shout Fulani. But the rest of Nigeria, I say this pointedly, my face is being safe. It's not just the Fulani, it's not just the outside, but the rest of Nigeria. What are the Yorubas doing coming out to say that are contesting the same election? Are they Fulani? So the rest of Nigeria are deliberately ganging up against the Igbos. That's reality. But I'm saying, that's all right. We can go on that way. But please note that we shall then pull down all concessions made to any group because of so-called disadvantage. Let us all go and hustle and know who will come out on top in everything in Nigeria.
So what do you hope should have happened, or what do you think should have happened with the two major political parties? Because in these two parties, we've seen people from the Southeast, specifically in the APC. We've seen Dr. Chris Ngige and even former Senate President and Secretary of the Government is also in the PDP, Pius Ayim. So what kind of politics would you have loved to see?
The same thing we did in 1998. The very same thing. Igbos from any party, just give Igbos the opportunity. Simple. Whether it's APC, we don't care who comes out from there. PDP, it doesn't matter who comes out from there. APGA, just name them. Particularly these two main parties anyway.
Now, let me throw in two candidates now in this equation. Do these people also qualify to be termed Igbos when we talk about any of the political parties, for instance, Rotimi Amechi and Nyesom Wike?
Now, well, I don't know. Some of them claim not to be Igbos. I'm not looking for Igbos. I'm not looking for brothers. We have enough. However, Southeast Nigeria, there are 6 zones. Southeast Nigeria is made up of exclusively Igbo people. You might have some Igbo people in other states. Not you might, you actually do. However, Southeast Nigeria must be allowed to produce the next president of this entity, as wobbly as it is, called Nigeria. Personally, my opinion ordinarily would have been this. We ought to, prior to this time, have had some discussion to ensure a restructuring of this entity. That Decree 24, that is so in your core constitution, remains a huge cog in the wheel of progress. There cannot be any federation, so to speak, properly so-called, under that Decree 24, called 1999 Constitution. Be that as it may, for as long as that contraption exists, it is still the term. It's only fair that you allow the southeast zone of Nigeria to produce the person that will be the president of the so-called Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Let me bring in Shola here. I see he's back, and I'm hoping that the connection will be better now. Shola, well, by every means, this is not a head-to-head, but I want some clarification because now Kenneth Odidika has said that what he meant, because it's something that the country had done before, leading up to the 1999 election, after the annulment of June 12, that there was an unwritten, agreement that whoever comes across political lines will be someone from Southwest. And he's also proposing that that should be done as we move towards this big election in 2023. Shola.
Oh, thank you, Sulaiman. Well, I think comparing 1998, 1999 to 2020, 2023, they're two quite different. It's like comparing apples and oranges. They are two different. The background to 1998, 1999, and the current circumstances we find ourselves are two quite different scenarios. An election was said to have been won by a Yoruba man in 1990. MK Abiloye was said to have won that election, and it was said it was annulled by Abacha and
by Babangida.
By Babangida, yes. So it was just that arrangement. The 1998 arrangement was intentional. I mean, it was deliberate. It was to assuage the feelings of the Yoruba from the entire Southwest, from which MK Abiola emanated from. So I mean, that's quite different, and there's a general sense of acceptance of that decision at the time. Whether you're an Hausa man, whether you're an Igbo man, whether you're a Yoruba man, there's a general acceptance that just, of course, let's give it to the Southwest. I mean, Emeka Abiola and Tofa did a fantastic job. They did a wonderful campaign. They sold themselves across across the federation. The election was adjudged, to be the freest and the fairest elections of Nigeria in recent times. So, that's quite different from where the situation we find ourselves. For crying out loud, this is 2022, build up towards 2023. I must say, and I'm not going to deny my name is Shola Abiloye, but I was born by an Igbo woman. So I spent more than 12 years in Igbo land. I spent more than another 11 years in the north. I'm well traveled across Nigeria. So now I'm in Lagos. I've spent quite appreciable number of my years, and my practice is based here in Lagos State. So I quite understand the feeling of my learned friend. But I think the circumstances in 1998, 1999, it's quite different from the situation we find ourselves now. We are talking about a president, a person that can bring Nigeria out of the current situation we find ourselves. And that is what we're talking about. Who can take us back to the years of glory? Who can bring Nigeria back to productivity? Who among all these candidates that some of which you have mentioned their names can provide quality leadership and direction for this nation? Who can revamp the economy? That's what we should be talking about. Who can solve the current state of insecurity? I traveled to Ekiti State just over the weekend, and we just had everybody was afraid. Everybody was afraid. This is just Ekiti, less than 4 hours from Lagos State. Everybody's afraid. Even with the presence of armed policemen and soldiers on the highway, we're still scared for our lives. So, we're looking for performance at this time. And yes, is the Igbo man qualified to? Of course. Can any of you have Peter Obi, who has indicated his interest. Let him come out. Let him play his politics. Let him sell himself out. And he's doing a good job of that. Let the Southeast come around, support the Peter Obi. If you don't want to support the Peter Obi, what about, say, the gentleman from Enugu, Senator Pius? Pius, he was former Senate president. He was, I think, recently was SSG. He held a position in this current administration. So, these are Igbo people. Are you expecting a Tambua to say, I'm going to give it to an Igbo man? Are you expecting a Bola Ahmed Tinubu to say, I'm going to leave my... Bola Tinubu was the first of all these candidates you have mentioned to indicate interest to run for the exalted position in this office, so in this country. So they are not going to, if anybody, it's going to be a dream, a mirage, or even a nightmare for any Igbo man. I am a landlord in Igbo land, in Enugu and in Abia State. So it will be a mirage. A nightmare, a pipe dream for any Igbo man to think that any of these candidates are going to step down for them. None will step down. You see, it's not going to happen because we're not in 1998. We're not in 1998. We're in 2022. And what we're looking at, whilst we recognize the sentiments of our Igbo brothers and sisters, we also want them to understand that, yes, they also have to sell themselves. This is not a turn-by-turn Nigeria Limited. This is the Federal Republic of Nigeria. This is the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Let me butt in there before I go to Kenneth quickly, Shola. When you mean they need to sell themselves, by the way, Pius Ayim is from Ebonyi State. Yes. And so how do you mean when you say they need to sell themselves, so that we can understand what aspect of politicking they're not getting right, if any?
You see, politics involves consultation. Politics involves alliance. Politics involves so many processes. The most important thing is for you to talk to candidates, talk to people that will determine who will be returned as the ticket holder or the flag bearer of any political party. So they have to do their job. That's what I'm talking about, selling themselves. Sell yourselves, sell your ideas, and talk to the people that, at the end of the day, it's going to be left it's going to be determined at the primary. Who's going to come out of either APC or PDP? It's going to be determined at the primaries. So do your underground job, do your networking, do your alliance, sell yourselves, go across. And I'm happy to see that some of these candidates we've mentioned, they are going about doing what they need to do. So, the Southeast should come behind these candidates, and support their own financially, support their own in terms of human resources, support their own. Let it be a concerted effort. I wouldn't want to say what I really want to say, but the general sentiment, and I say this respectfully, is that there's a perception of disunity in the Southeast. That's the perception out there. That rightly or wrongly, it is out there that there's no unity, there's no unified. Why can't the Igbos, the entire Southeast, produce a candidate? If you want everybody to step down, if you want all these 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 candidates to step down for your own candidate, why can't you do it at your own Southeast level?
Let's take a moment. Apologies, let me butt in. When we come back, I want Kenneth Odidika to weigh in on that because he thinks quite differently on the issue of unity. Then we'll now dig in deep and start to sieve and look at these aspirants and see who, at least for Mr. Odidika, to see those that may actually be representing any of the two political parties from the Southeast, and also look at some of those that have been tested before and see if they actually have any muscle of, trust and faith on why they are seeking to run for 2023. That's when we return. Join us again. Well, if you just joined us, we welcome you watching Village Square Africa here on News Central Television, broadcasting to 54 African countries and beyond. And we're looking at Nigeria's journey towards the election year in 2023. And that year will be the 7th in Nigeria's Fourth Republic. More presidential aspirants are joining the race, with at least 10 of them already picked nomination forms from the two major parties, that's the PDP and the APC. So in the days ahead, more names are expected to announce their aspirations. And other than their regional leanings, which stands these aspirants apart, who will be Nigeria's next president? Still with me is Kenneth Odidika and Shola, Abiloye, both legal practitioners. And let's come to you, Kenneth. Before the break, we were trying to look at the conversation we just had with Shola, talking about unity. He's concerned, he's in agreement that it should come to the Southeast, but his fear and worry is about unity. He thinks that the feeling out there is that the people of that region, Nigeria Southeast, are not united. So if you agree, how possible will they be able to bring a united, aspirant or candidate in any of these two big parties to come run on, the ballot?
Sulaiman, when Nigerians talk about the Igbos, they don't mean unity. They mean head followership. They don't mean unity. Nobody in Nigeria has been more critical of Bola Ahmed Tinubu than Bode George. I don't think Bode George is from Anambra State. or Enugu State, or Ebonyi, and numerous others. People are not saying Yorubas are not united. But once Kenneth Odidika criticizes a P2B, Igbos are not united. You shouldn't give them anything. We already know that. I am old enough, I'm exposed enough, I'm prominent enough in Igbo land to belong to a lot of groups, to be a stakeholder in Igbo land, to understand that we know their game. That's why I told you that it is not the issue of Fulani is Hausas against Igbo is not true. It is Nigerians against Igbos. That's true. That's the truth. I have friends. I live in Anambra. I live in Enugu. You know where I live. I live in Lagos with you. I live in. As I speak to you now, I'm in my house in my chama in Abuja. But I'm telling you the truth. I still have my friends and brothers across the place. But that's the truth. I just told you. What is Igbo? Oh, they're not united. Now, we are not begging. People should understand this thing. We are not begging. What is presidency of Nigeria? To me, it doesn't mean anything. It means nothing. What I'm saying, and I'm saying it to Nigerians to understand and take it down today, that I am all in support, as my learned brother, a learned friend has said. Let us not give any concession to anybody. Let all of us go into the field. And it must cut across every aspect of life in Nigeria. All aspects. Don't come and tell me there's one disadvantaged man in Sokoto, so he should have 2% and come to school. When my child will have 98%, and I tell him to wait. It cuts across all. Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa, name what, and the rest, Kanuri, all of them. Let us go into the field in every endeavor. Let us forget the geographical spread. Let us go and contest in every field. I came to Lagos from Anambra State. I don't know if I did well or didn't do well. Maybe my friend will tell us. So please do not think we are begging. I'm an Igbo man, then I'm a Nigerian. Am I very clear here? I'm an Igbo man first. In fact, I am Odidika from Ihiala, then Igbo man, then Nigerian. That is how it plays. That's the truth. And I told you, no nationality in Nigeria loves Nigeria more than the Igbo man. That's why we are everywhere. I'm happy my other friend is one of us. He has houses in Enugu and Abia. If he comes to here, I will dash him land. I won't sell. I will dash him land. So he can also be my neighbor there. We love Nigeria. We have been unfairly treated, but we don't care. Let us now move. Let us call concessions.
So, how do we get out of this logjam? Because for many Nigerians, long before they were born, Nigeria has been talking about this, unfair treatment, especially towards the people of the Southeast. And now that you bring in it again, as Nigeria moves towards the election, do you see any of the aspirants who could possibly, reverse the trend?
See, is it from the north or any of them, from wherever they come?
From wherever.
Now, even up north, even in the southwest, we have very intelligent people. Nigerians are intelligent people generally. Now, if I say, let me take from the southeast, we have a P2B who distinguished himself. Nigerians know that. This is a man who made his mark before joining politics. Finished, left governorship seat, and you can't say he stole your 1 naira. We have most of the other people are people who became rich in government. These are people who managed, maybe they had a 504, but now they own Banana Island. So, if, for instance, we also have Professor Mogalo, Kingsley Moghalu. Even if you go to that side, you have even a Christian Gige, Dr. Christian Gige. These are people who, if they assume the presidency of Nigeria, you can be sure that some work we done across the board, and there's some intellectual input and output. It's not a question of gathering every Wednesday to award contracts. You borrow money for the fun of borrowing money. What are we even talking about here? My friend says, oh, somebody can take Nigeria out of the woods. Are we saying that these names I called now, I called 3 names, just 3. I haven't even added that in. Make 4. And so on. Because I'm taking from Southeast now. Is he telling me that these names I'm calling, starting from the first one I called, cannot, in the circumstance, going by his pedigree, by his antecedents, cannot take Nigeria out of the woods in as short a time as 2 years? We can continue playing the ostrich, pretending that nothing is wrong. Oh, nobody can do it. When we were warning Nigerians in 2014, they didn't believe us. Today, they are suffering. I'm not suffering as much as a lot of them that are suffering, because we warned them and they didn't listen. In 2023, let them not listen. It's going to be worse if there will even be a Nigeria, the way we're going.
Let me bring you back again, Shola. Now we're almost looking at some of the candidates, or rather aspirants, and quite frankly, some of the comments we're getting from followers of this program have also picked 2 of those names Kenneth has just reeled out. Top on that list is the former governor of Anambra State, Peter Obi, and of course also the former Senate President, Ayim Pius Ayim. How can these aspirants, make that move? This is not to restrict you to Southeast, Shola. How can aspirants across political platforms come together to give, a particular candidate within that party a chance, considering that they have their own ambitions too? Because somehow deep in anyone's heart, you know that the next man may be a better candidate if given the ticket.
Thank you very much, and a very good question. I must also agree with most of the comments that have been made by Mr. Odidika. I agree with you, Mr. Odidika, and I look forward to having an Igbo president. I mean,
I thought you were going to say you look forward to having the land.
Yeah, of course, we'll take that off record so that I don't start making an appeal on national or international television.
No, that's fine.
But that said, I think I have been involved in some little bit of politicking from my primary school to secondary school to university level, and even now as a member of the Nigerian Bar Association, I've also been involved. I've held position in the Nigerian Bar Association, so I understand a little bit of politics, and then of course I've also been involved in some grassroots politics, but I can tell that I may not be in the best position to advise an entire region of Nigeria, the Southeast, that is filled with very intelligent and very robust intellectuals. In fact, I was taught by very sound Igbo professors at the Faculty of Law, Enugu State University, where I had my first degree. And so they have cream de la cream, the best of the best in the East. But how does an Igbo man, what does a Rochas Okorocha, a Peter Obi, a David Umahi, or a Chris Ngige, or Kingsley Moghalu, or Senator Pius and Pius, what do they need to do in order to become to get that ticket? I think there has to be some kind of alignment. There has to be some alignment. First of all, I will canvass for a Southeast alignment. And that's what I was saying, the point I was trying to make before the break. That, yes, I've had one of my colleagues, and from the Southeast said, I mean, let them give the ticket to an Igbo man. I said, okay, fine. Can the Igbo man from the Igbos, from the zones, can all these Igbo men who have indicated their interest to run for president also give it to one of them? So that it will just be clear. I mean, if you want to, charity begins at home. Can a Rochas, Okorocha, Umeahi, Ingege, Mogalu, Ayim, all come, stay behind and push Peter Obi? And the rest of them will support, and the whole region, the entire region, will galvanize their support for Peter Obi, or for Kingsley Mogalu, or for Chris Ingege. I mean, in no particular order. What I'm saying is that is possible, and that is advisable. That has to be, in my own view, the first thing that has to be done. Because a house that is divided against itself cannot stand. I'm not saying that the Igbos are divided. Of course, I won't say that. But what I'm saying is that let that unity, let that support start from the southeast. Then it cannot be taken to the larger Nigeria. Somebody can then, I mean, Peter Obi will use his contacts. Rochas Okorocha has a lot of connections in the north. He will use his northern connection. Say, look, support my brother. Chris Ngige. He's the minister of labor, and he has, I mean, he was saying on TV, on national TV the other day, that he has mediated and settled more than almost 2,000 industrial disputes. He has the connection. He has the people. He knows people that are going to, he knows these people that are going to vote in this primary that is fought from Kingsley Mogalu, Pius Ayim. He has been Senate president. He has served in this current administration. So they can all galvanize support for whoever they choose to be the representative of the Southeast. That, to me, is the point I'm trying to drive out here. That has to be, because, I mean, everybody cannot be supporting themselves. And, you know, I recently lost an election. in the NBA just because a Yoruba man refused to step down. Two Yorubas, it was the turn of the Yorubas to occupy that position. But the two of us are coming. Two of us came out. And I mean, my opponent came out very late. And there was this other lady from the South. And everybody did everything possible to cause him to step down. The boy said no. He was headstrong, he was bent that he was going to run. We both lost, and the lady from the South won. So for me, there has to be some alignment amongst all these presidential candidates from the Southeast zone.
Let's see. Sorry to cut you again. Sorry to butt in. Let's see if Kenneth can help us here, because I also recall then when he was into partisan politics, and sometimes, if I'm not mistaken, there were times he'd said that sometimes you need to be a part of it to fight some of these political battles. Now, help us here. How does it work? I'm trying to bring into some of the suggestions by Shola. How can it work for politicians who are already there? Because for those waiting on the outside are not members of political parties like yourself. So for you to become the candidate, it falls within, membership. So how can some of these members look towards some of the suggestions you both have actually been addressing on the square?
So, what Shola is saying is idealistic. It's the ideal. Oh, let's all the Igbo candidates come together and say, look, here is going. Let's back him. But can I tell you something in this country? The moment that happens, they will tell you that man is going to be so Igbo-centric that he won't look at Yorubas, he won't look at you at North. That will also work against him. I'm telling you that now. I'm telling you that. Yes, I was in partisan politics. I played at the highest level. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't even happen that way. There's no way everybody's going to step down and say, oh, let one Igbo man go on his own. No, or let one Yoruba man go. No. It is when it is left for them, then they'll contest, and one of them will come out. Before Obasanjo, who was the military candidate, and Falaye came out, not everybody stepped down for them. No. Everybody just stepped down for them. But they emerged. That's what we're saying. So if you're expecting that whatever, it's not because it's Igbo people today. Even if it's Yoruba, there is no Check it now. Is it today? We have all been here. I am 62, about 63 years old, 3 months from now. My age is clear. I mean, it's open. Remember, you were there when I turned 50. I was in your studio then when I turned 50. So my age is the public domain. So almost 63 years old. I've been here. I've seen everything. Educated early enough. I know these things. At no time has it been said that, oh, it's Yoruba's turn, so every Yoruba man step down except for A. It doesn't happen.
Let me bring, sorry again, let me bring this in because we're winding down. I recall, now we're talking about age, and I recall then, over a decade ago, Nigeria was in the forefront in the world to bring in, young leaders, but that didn't, see the light of day. That's very, many years before we saw what's happening in Austria, what is happening in France. How can, because for people like Shola and some other younger ones watching you, because I remember then how politics was played and you were a very active politician at that point in time. How can Nigeria start looking towards the very young people so that they can actually be successful in their quest, for elective offices and not appointive offices, elective offices?
I ran for governorship at the age of 49, which was even a bit old. I was 49 years old. And thereafter I said, well, even my current governor, I said, what is this man still looking for there? Every 4 years coming out, though he's not the governor. When are these young ones going to do anything? Because the reality is this. Forget about the show about, oh, we're exercising. Well, exercise. I'm still very trim. You can see me. I'm not hiding. And if you want to remove my shirt, there's nothing under it to hold my tummy. But the thing is this. The young ones must come up to take these positions. Formerly, I could work 72 hours non-stop as a work, doing my law work. 72 hours continuously. My children can attest to this. That they both live in England, but when they were here, young children, they could attest to daddy. They wake up, daddy, they go to school, but then non-stop, 72 hours. Any 62-year-old man who does it now will be carried to the cemetery, and so on and so on. So the young ones are supposed to take over. One is a lot of them don't even want to go through some form of training. They all want to become rich overnight. A lot of them are not even following the trend. They are stuck in some ideas. They don't even want to now develop the ideas and marry it with what is going to give them what do I use for it now? That can make them more intelligent and more progressive in their actions. We are getting too old. What is a 70-something? What are they looking for there? You tell me Biden. Biden doesn't have to be alive for the American system to work. There's a system. It must work. Here we have no system. We need a very healthy person. Buhari has shown us that you need a healthy person. Tinubu cannot manage Nigeria. He's not well enough to manage Nigeria. He's old. If we come to Ebola, same thing. If we bring an old man, how we cancel him out? In fact, actually, Ngige, shouldn't we talk about the presidency now? The oldest we should talk about people like Peter Obi, more oldest, so you should come down. So you come to Yoruba land, look for younger people. Go to North, look for younger people, please. For as long as we are bringing these old men who used our money for their medical bills, it's not easy to maintain old age. They use your Nigerian money to maintain their old age. Young people, like my colleague here, I'm much older than his of yours. I mean, I've said my age. So I know what happens when I stand up and say, when were you called? I say, well, they all sit down. I was born in 1981. CJ of Nigeria is my classmate, or was my classmate, and so many other judges. So young ones should please come up and take over the mantle of leadership. We are there to advise them if they need advice. We don't have the energy to be sleeping for only 2 hours a day. What it means that we end up not doing the work. That's what it is. So it is the fault of people like Shola them to relax and wait for old men to be the same people who were there when their own fathers were there, are still there, and are relaxing. At least I did my bit. I came out, I tried, and I went back. I said, I'm too old to continue this. I advise that what I can do now, call meetings, I'll attend meetings, and say my own. I cannot hold any elective office. I will not accept any appointive office that will require full-time work. I will not do it. I will not do it.
Well, I think at this point in time, let's call Shola to respond to some of the key things, because Shola is in the court of the very young in Nigeria. And for those who know Kenneth Odidika, he doesn't hold it, you know, when it comes to shooting straight to the heart. And he said, this is the battle of the young to fixing Nigeria. How optimistic are you, Shola? Well, it looks like we lost that connection to Shola. So let's close with you quickly. In 2023, if we can do this in 2 minutes, Kenneth Odidika, what do you hope to see? Because as it is going, some have said that, well, I think, well, one of those bad days there, I lost both connection. Well, at this point, we'd like to say many thanks for being such nice company to you, Shola, Abiloye, and Kenneth Odidika, both legal practitioners, for joining us on the program today. For those who missed out on the show, you can get a catch-up on YouTube to watch what conversation we've had on the square today. I'm Sulaiman. Bye for now.